Thank you again for joining today's Sunday service. Today's title is How to Build a Prosperous Life. How to build a prosperous life. It must be a kind of attracting theme, maybe. Okay. You may know that Happy Science, there are law series books. They are very important books, such as Laws of Hell, Laws of Messiah, Laws of Secret, Laws of Secret. These are the very recent books. Every year, Master Okawa published one law series book, and it is a very important teaching in Happy Science. And in total, we have 29 law series books, 29 in total, starting from Laws of the Sun. And of 29, 26 were already translated in English. 3 of them are not translated, but there are important books among them. I'd like to introduce a part of it from today. And you may know the first 3 law series book. Law of the Sun, it's a Japanese version, obviously. Law of the Sun, Golden Laws, the Laws of Eternity. These are the trilogies, most important basic teaching in Happy Science. And these 3 books were firstly published in 1987. All of three published in the same age, the first active age. And the fourth law series is published in 1999. There's a big gap between them. What is that book? You may wonder. This wasn't actually translated into English yet, but it's important. The Laws of Prosperity. Okay, it is from Hermes' teaching. And today's theme is I took from the third chapter of this book, which is the Thought for Prosperity. This is a very, very basic teaching about prosperity in Happy Science, I believe. Okay, in this leaflet, I explained it kind of a natural way of prosperity, what God expects us. That is a teaching. So when you look at nature, like big tree, this tree is very gorgeous, and it represents kind of prosperity in it. Then you can see another thing. It's a cherry blossom in a mountain. It's a mountainous cherry trees. They are not so big, but so many trees are together. It's a show the kind of prosperity in it. This is a mountain side of the Nara Prefecture in Japan. It's very famous for the cherry trees, which I think there are maybe more than 3,000 cherry trees there. Okay. Aside from these kind of trees or flowers, we have animals. Like lion, it's also kind of showing a prosperous life itself. And this beautiful horse, very beautiful horse, it also shows kind of natural prosperity. And as Jesus Christ said in the Bible, small flower shows the kind of prosperity in that. This small really shows the prosperity. And even smaller flowers, like these. It's a Japanese park, coastal park. So many flowers. It shows prosperity. So we can learn from this nature that what the prosperity is, what kind of life we should live. Okay. Today's master's teaching is I took from his lecture, Thought for Prosperity. It's the 3rd chapter of this yet translated Japanese teaching, the Laws of Prosperity. And it consists of 4 chapters, four sections. Instinct for faith, 4 good habits, capital for success, heart of service. Okay. Of these 4 sections, we don't have a complete version of English translation video. we only have a part of it. First part and the 3 and 4 parts. No, second part 2 is no English translation video. So I just explained it with my mouth. Okay, maybe some of them you might have already listened to or watched, but this is the total flow of the teaching that I can explain. Okay, we will watch the first part of this master lecture, the instinct for faith. It's an English subtitle version.
私は人間には他の動物がいろんな本能を持っているのと同じようにいくつかの本能があると思いますが、その中に信仰の本能というものがあるように思います。これは私だけの考えではなくて、松下幸之助という方もそういう言葉を選んで使ったことがあるように思いますけれども、信仰の本能っていう言葉は非常に変わった響きを持っていますが、考えてみれば鮭という魚が必ず生まれ故郷のふるさとに海から遡上していくように、あるいは渡り鳥が季節になれば南へ飛んでいくように、何年も土の中に潜っていたセミがやがて地中から這い出してきて本能的に木に登って羽化当選するように、あらゆる生き物にはその生き物がその生き物である本来の使命を果たすために持っている本能というべきものがあると思います。私は人間と動物の大きな違いはやはりこの信仰の本能のあるなしではないかなというふうに思うんですね。動物たちは人間が持っているような五感、いやそれ以上に鋭敏な感覚を持っています。その意味で感覚だけを比べてみると人間はかなわないかもしれない。犬ほどの嗅覚は持っていませんし、また他のいろんな動物が持っているほどの聴力ですね、聞く力も持っていないかもしれない。また鳥ほどの視力も持っていないかもしれない。そういう意味で単にこの世にあるものを感知するというだけの機能では、あるいは人間は動物よりも劣るかもしれない。しかしその人間が動物よりも明らかに勝っていると思えるところはこの信仰の本能というところだと思うんです。信仰の本能といえば分かりにくいかもしれませんが、目に見えないものを信じ理解し、それに基づいて行動することができるという、そういう性質ですね。これが優れているところだと思うんです。で、信仰とは何を信ずるのかといえばですね、伝統的には神あるいは仏という言葉で表されるものです。神様仏様を信ずることができる。これがやはり人間が動物より優れている面であるんです。ところが本能というものはあらゆる生き物に備わっているにもかかわらず、この人間という種族の中にはこの本能である信仰する心を忘れた種類のものがかなり繁殖しているのではないかと思えるんです。動物であればその本能を忘れたら、もともと動物のその使命が果たせませんから、例えば鶏が卵を産む使命を忘れたらどうなりましょうか。大変なことになるでしょう。鮭が遡上できなくなったらどうしましょう。そういうことですね。熊がまたその鮭を取ることができなくなったらどうしましょう。フクロウが目が見えなくなったらどうしましょう。夜目が利かなくなったらどうしましょう。それと同じように人間が人間である理由は五感で感知できる以上のですね、尊いものを理解し、それに基づいて行動できるという、そういう本能が、これは人間を人間たらしめているものなんですけども、これを失った人たちがどうやら 大量にこの世紀には出現しているらしい。新人類と言ってもいいかもしれないけれども、ある意味ではこれは退化した人類であるということも可能かと思いますね。数は増えましたけれども、本質においてやや類人猿化した動きではないかなと。人間から進化してきた人間から猿に向かって対抗しているような、そういう動きではないかなというふうにも思います。そして動物として生きるならば、あまり強い動物とは言えませんね。やはり動物としてだけ見ればそう強い動物とは言えない。最近でも O157 とかサルモネラ菌とかですね、ちっちゃなばい菌で食中毒を起こすというような人もあちこちで起きていますけれども、動物はこんなもので病気になりませんね、そう簡単に。人間でもそうですけれども、インドなんかですとガンガンの濁った水でですね、それで紅茶を沸かして飲んでみんな平気なんですから、日本人でしたらお腹を壊すかもしれませんけれども、そういうことで平気でやれる。もともとは強いもんだと思うんですね。ところがだんだん弱くなってきてるんですね。だから体だけをとってみれば動物よりもはるかに軟弱な体になっていると思います。けれどもそれを超える、動物を超える高度なものを信じ、それに基づいて生きている、目に見えない価値を作り出している、目に見えないユートピアという価値を作り出しているからこそ人間は尊いんですね。まずそれを信じなきゃいけません。人間はもともと本能的に信ずる心というものを持っています。なぜかと言いますと、結局ですね、この大宇宙の中に生きている自分、大宇宙と自分、他の多くの生き物と自分、他の多くの人間と自分、そういう関わりを見ながら生きることができるからですね。そしてその大宇宙の中の自分というものを見ると、やはり自分の小ささですね、無限の宇宙から見たら小さなアリのような自分であるということを知ることができる力を持っているんですね。アリは自分がアリであるということを客観的に掴むことは難しいかもしれない。しかしながら人間は大宇宙から見たら自分がアリにも及ばないほどの小さな存在かもしれない、無力な存在かもしれないということを知ることができる。そして当然ながら存在の不安というものを感じますね。こういう大きな宇宙の中の地球という星に小さな生命としてポンと置かれている自分、そして他の多くの生き物と同時に生きていかねばならない。どうやって生きる、何をよりどころにして生きる、そういうことを考えなきゃいけませんね。その時によりどころが欲しいんですね。生きるよりどころ、どういうよりどころに頼りにして生きていけばよいか。大勢の人が生きていますからね、みんながバラバラに生きたら大変なことになります。だから大勢の人たちが仲良く楽しく平和に生きていけるためには、みんながこういうふうに生きようよという規範といいますかね、規則といいますか、決まりというものを守らなきゃいけないんですね。その決まりをどこに設けるか、それはやはりそれぞれの人がいろんなことを考えつくわけですけれども、バラバラの意見に基づいて生きていたのではやはり収拾がつきませんね。みんなが自分こそ神だ、自分こそ仏だということで、あっちもこっちもいろんな人が、新しい神になったり仏になったりいっぱいしてきたら意見がどうしても合わない。そういうことでやはり目に見えない超越的な世界にあるところの偉大なる真霊というものをみんな信ずるようになるんですね。そしてその偉大なる真霊から教えというものが地上に下ろされてくる。時代に応じてそうした使命を持った人が出てくる。ブッダであるとかキリストであるとか、そういう偉大な使命を持った人が地上に降りてきて人々に教えを説く。でこの教えにのっとって皆さん生きなさいということですね。これを教えてくれるわけです。ここで一つの方向性が示されるわけですね。これに頼りに生きていかないとですね、これを頼りに生きていかないとやっぱり紛争が絶えません。多くの人たちがどうやって生きたらいいか、何をよりどころにしたらいいか、全く原始状態に置かれるわけですね。そういう意味で人間世界を超えた世界から核のごとく生きなさいという教えが説かれる。 それを信じて多くの人たちが心を一つにしてユートピアを作ろうとしているんですね。だから信仰というのは目に見えないものを信ずるわけですけれども、目に見えないからいいんです。目に見えるものでないからいいんです。目に見えないからみんながそれに対して手が届かない。手が届かないから全ての人が北極星を見るようにですね、変わらないものに帰依することができるんですね。北極星の位置がどんどん変わってしまったらどこが来たか分からなくなりますね。だから人間から見たらはるかに遠い、手の届かないところにある、そういう仏心の心というものを北極星を基準にするように思って生きていくんですね。ここで心が一つに定まってきます。そこでいろいろと考えもし行動もするけども、根本的には大きな決まりにのっとって人間は生きていくんだと、そういうことをみんなで納得し合う。これが信仰の世界であるし、これがもともと本能として人間に与えられているものであるというふうに思うんですね。で、信仰というのはね、何のためにするかということなんですけども、信仰は難しいという方もいらっしゃるけれども、恋愛みたいなもんだと思ってもいいかもしれません。神様仏様を好きになることです、信仰っていうのはね。で、恋愛しますと相手に気に入ってもらいたいですから、やはり相手の好みに合っていく自分に変わっていきますね。服装から食べ物からですね、立ち居振る舞い、言葉遣い、それから相手が知性的な人がいいといえば勉強もしたくなるし、芸術を理解してほしいといえばですね、絵も見たり音楽も聴いたりしたくなりますね。そういうふうに恋愛では自分の好きな人に、分かってもらえるように、あるいは近づいていけるように、気に入ってもらえるように自分が変化していきますね。信仰もそれと同じでして、神様や仏様を好きになる。好きになると相手に気に入ってもらえるような自分になりたいと思う。そして自分が変化していく。どういうふうに変化していくか。もちろん神の子、仏の子としての性質を持った自分になりたいと願うようになるんですね。だから信仰っていうのはやはり一種の尊敬だと思うんですね。人間は何を尊敬するかによって、行く方向が違うんですね。悪魔を尊敬すれば悪魔のような人間になります。それはそうでしょう。犯罪人を尊敬すれば犯罪人みたいになるでしょ。実際に犯罪人になっちゃうでしょ。犯罪人を手本にしてああいうふうになりたいと思えば犯罪人になりますね。大泥棒を手本にすれば大泥棒になりますね。それはそうです。立派な人を手本にすれば立派な人になる。同じように神様仏様のようになりたいと尊敬し理想化し願えばそれに近づいていくんですね。こういうふうに理想化して近づいていく過程のことを信仰と言っているわけですから、これは本当に大事なことなんですね。で、その信仰というものを否定して、有物論といいますかね、人間は物なんだと、物質の塊なんだというふうに考えている人、いっぱいいるわけですけれども、そういう人たちは一体何を理想にして生きているんでしょうかというところですね。物としての自分、ちょうどおもちゃみたいなもんですね。おもちゃですから壊れたらおしまいというふうな感覚でしょうか。やがてこれは優秀なロボットにとって代わられる人生観でしょうね。ロボットの方が進行するようになるかもしれませんね。人間より精巧なロボットはできてくるでしょうから、ロボットの方が神様になって人間は奴隷になってしまうかもしれない。本質的な価値が分からなければね、そういうこともあり得るでしょう。このように信仰というのは人間が幸福に暮らすために、また成長していくためにぜひとも必要なもので、それは生まれつき備わっている本能だと思います。なぜかというと、それぞれの人には魂が宿っている。魂の中にはやはりこの世に生まれてくる前の記憶がかすかながらも残っている。時々はそれを思い出す。そういうことが言えるんですね。ですから地域を変えですね、国を変えていろんな人々が生きていますけれども、ある程度善悪の基準というのはですね、みんな持っていますね。これは遺伝子的に見ればつながっていない人たちがいっぱいいるわけです。世界各国にはね、遺伝子的にはつながっていない人がいる。だから生物的のみ言うならば全然つながっていない人たちでもですね、やはり善悪が分かる。それからやっぱり美しいもの、醜いもの、それが分かりますね。愛とか憎しみの違いが分かる。このように遺伝子的につながっていないにもかかわらず共通の価値観を持っているということが取り物合わさず人間が神の子仏の子であるというような 意味なんです。このように信仰というものを本能だと捉えたら、それに素直に生きていくことが大事ですね。謙虚に素直に生きていく。そして神仏の心に従順に生きていくこと。それがとても大事なことです。現代人はこの従順という言葉の意味を忘れているように思いますね。傲慢になっているんですね。あの世の世界を否定し、神も仏も否定したところにあるものは何か。それは利己心のみが、要するに神の心、仏の心と思う考え方ですね。利己心、自分自身を可愛いと思う心が全てであるというふうな、そういう思いが強くなってきているんではないでしょうか。それは果たして理想的なことでしょうか。そうではないでしょう。こういうことで地上に今60億人もの人間が住んでいるわけですから、それぞれの人間が勝手なことを言ってたら喧嘩ばっかりして収まりはつきません。しかし目に見えない世界の偉大なる意志というものを感じ、普遍的な考え方をみんなが共有することによって共に仲良く助け合いながら生きていくことができるんです。それをもう一度根本に立ち戻って戻って考えなければいけないと思います。
Thank you, Lord. You may notice that the master is wearing a Japanese traditional attire called kimono. It's a formal wear because it was a New Year celebration time that this lecture was given, 1997, January. Oh, welcome. You slept well, I suppose. Okay. Okay, the faith is the most basic thing for our prosperous life. So, first part was instinct for faith, and it is only given to humans. It divides humans and animals. Why? Humans' instinct is kind of driven by physical existence. That is the way they protect themselves or thrive in their activities. That's the physical instinct. But this instinct is a spiritual one, not a physical one. Because humans' activity is not only a physical, but also a spirituality. Spirituality is a more important than physical existence. So, as a humans, as a children of God or Buddha, we are given this instinct. That's divide us from animals. This sense, it is very, very vital. And then faith is a kind of respect or romantic love. Okay, so wants to come near to the person or existence, which is called God. So if we have a faith in God, we want to come near to Him, to know His mind and make oneself closer to the God. That is the instinct of faith. It is very, very vital for us. Then humans could live together believing in unseen values. Because they are unseen, it is not changeable. So as a center pillar of the society, we can create a utopia world in this world. That's why that we have all have an instinct of faith. Unseen values like such as justice, love, fairness, equality, or freedom, or something like that. We create society based on these kind of unseen values. Okay. Then, conclusion, we must live honestly and humbly in response to this instinct for faith. We should live honestly and humbly in response to the instinct for faith. That is a way we should live to become a prosperous existence. There are many people who don't obey these instincts. There are many people out there. They deny religion, they deny God, they deny spirituality. That's why our society, our world is now becoming very, very dangerous or difficult world. That's why because we lost this instinct, forgot this instinct, there are many confusions all around the world. So we should focus on this instinct, and also we should build our life on this instinct. Okay. We come to the second part that we don't have a video today. Sorry. Okay. We have talked about how humans by nature have the instinct for faith. How does it take for such a being to prosper? It is to form good habits. It is to form good habits. If you are a person of faith, it is very important to form good habits based on that faith. When humans beings drift freely, they may go in a wrong direction. But if they work hard toward a good direction, they will develop good habits. Okay, what are the habits they are? Okay, what kind of habits they are by Master teaching? We have 4 habits that we should have. 4 good habits: self-reflection, reading books, especially diligence, physical exercise. These are the foundation of our prosperity. Master taught us to forming a good habit. We can make our foundation of prosperity in our life. First is a habit of self-reflection. Master teaching, humans are given the freedom. Because we have a freedom, we often make mistakes. We make mistakes and do wrong things. However, when we look back and reflect on what we have done wrong, the light of Buddha and God comes in, and the wrong part is forgiven. This is a law of self-reflection, corrects the mistakes, and sin in the area disappears. So, self-reflection is a God-given mercy that we can correct our sins or amend our mistakes and correct our sins. That is a very, very good way of living a better life. Also, it is related to our success. So, this is from teaching from Konosuke Matsushita, which Master mentioned in the lecture in the first place, the founder of Panasonic. Panasonic nowadays is kind of decline, but it is one of the greatest electric appliances company in the 1990s or 1980s, like that. Now still they are doing business, but a bit in a decline. He said, I'm sure anyone who practices self-reflection will be successful. When they reflect properly, they know exactly what to do next and what not to do. This is the words of Matsushita. Actually, he had a habit of self-reflection every day, every night for more like 2 hours before lay down on the bed. He had a habit of self-reflection. That's the secret of his success. That's because he said it like this. Second is the habit of reading books. Okay, it is very important practice in happy science. Okay. I would like to include reading as a good habit for prosperity. Of all the things parents can teach their children, I think the most important is the habit of reading. Reading is a source of wisdom. The habit of reading is greatest gift from parents to their children. Okay, when Master taught these 4 habits, he meant we should be forming these kind of 4 habits from the early age, like teens or even before like that. We should have 4 kind of habits from the early stage of our life. Okay. So, as for Master Ryuho Okawa, his father, Saburo Yoshikawa, Also, he was an avid reader. He read many books, including philosophy, literature, and also religious teachings. Because of that, because of his practice, Master Ryuho Okawa started to reading books from the early age, very early age, before teens. Even before teens, he started to reading books. So that kind of practice will be transferred from generation to generation. So if you don't read books much, your children have very few possibility to start reading books. But if you have a habit of reading many books, your children might have a habit like that. Okay. As for me, my father was a school teacher, school master of the elementary school, and also he read many books. I didn't read books while I was in elementary school, but I started reading after low teen or high teen like that. So that also came from my parent, especially father. By reading books is very important because it gives your thought, food for thought. If you don't have enough knowledge, you can't think anything. We need materials for the thinking. If you have many materials for thought, it is very good. Your thought will become a kind of very productive. If you don't have much materials, you cannot think anything. And the master taught in this book that we live a life of several decades, like 70, 80, something like that. And in this lifetime, our experience and knowledge we can acquire directly is very limited. Our scope of the wisdom is limited to our life in most cases. But if we could learn from the books of other people's experiences or wisdom, it will multiply our life experience. So by reading many good books, you can acquire 10 times, 100 times, even 1,000 times of life value of the wisdom from other people. That is a very effective way of spiritual training on this life. So we should try to read as many books as possible, good books especially. So that is Master Ryuho Okawa's advice to us. Then third is a habit of diligence work. Furthermore, diligence is an important habit in life. When you are a student, it is important to study hard, and after you graduate and become a member of society, it is important to work diligently with your forehead sweating. So work intently or study intently, this is diligence. But there is as you know, Master Ryuho Okawa himself is a very diligent person. But I will add another aspect of diligence. That is to use your time free. Don't waste your time. Even in a short time, you can use it very effectively. Like when we are commuting on the train, like 20 minutes or something like that, you can use that for the time of reading, as Master Okawa did in his student days or in a working days. Every day, even though he was on the very packed train, like a sardines, in that situation, he was still reading books or newspapers to acquire wisdom or knowledge. So we shouldn't lose our time carelessly. So it is important advice from Master Ryuho Okawa. Then habit of physical exercise. Moderate exercise is also important as a habit for prosperous life. Healthy living is very important and is foundation of prosperity. A key to a long and happy life is to maintain a healthy lifestyle with good physical control. By doing so, we can live a life that is enjoyable for ourselves without causing inconvenience to others, especially your family members or spouse are like that, or children. Okay. Some tips for physical exercise. Take up something you used to do in youth. You may have enjoyed sport in the younger days. When you become elderly person, it is good to take up the old habit of doing like that. For my case, I was doing some kind of swimming or bicycling. These are my sports when I was in the early 20s. So I practiced these things, started to doing these things in my 40s or 50s. Yeah, I still do that sometimes. For Master Okawa himself, he did tennis, kendo in his youth age. He started to practice tennis in his late 30s or early 40s, I'm not sure. He practiced very hard, even at the time. Also, he loves swimming, another thing. Okay, so this is very important thing. And also, walking. Walking is the most basic and important exercise. This Master Okawa repeatedly taught us. Because if our leg power become weak, it affect our mental, mind or mental situation. So if you think you are losing your memory ability, you may need walking. Walking is very good to your brain, also your mental health. Okay. Then another thing that Master told us is self-control. There is no one other than you can control your health by practicing physical exercise. It is you, up to you, all up to you. So you must self-control yourself, and the exercise, to practice exercise as a habitual daily thing. Yeah, you may the routine of exercise into your daily life. That is very important way. That is the most easy way to do that. And also, that is in this book and this lecture, proper nutrition, exercise, and rest. Nutrition, exercise, rest. These are 3 factors are important for your health. Okay, please keep that in your mind. And as a conclusion of part 2, Master said, in order to prosper, it is important to acquire the 4 good habits of reflection, reading, diligence, and moderate exercise from childhood age. Those who acquire these 4 habits will lead a life of natural prosperity, just as a seed sprouts, grows a stem, and eventually blossoms. These are the very important basics of our prosperous life. This is Master's conclusion for this part. Then we go into the 3rd part, Master's lecture. It's a voiceover.
Another point I would like to raise is the importance of having capital if we are to succeed.
Sorry, don't move it.
Another point I would like to raise is the importance of having capital if we are to succeed. In the same way that a sprout grows out of a bulb and blossoms, or the stem grows out of the concentrated nutrition of a sweet potato, so success grows from capital. We must all work hard to create this capital. In order to start a business, we need capital. We need money. People who rely on a loan to begin their business are very rarely successful. To understand whether a business will succeed or not, One simply has to ask whether the owner worked hard to earn his money, saved a part of his earnings, and whether his savings have grown year by year. People who appreciate the value of money are likely to get ahead. But someone who uses their credit card to buy things before they have earned the money will find it difficult to succeed. If you do not have the volition to create your own capital, you will face difficulties when you start your own business. You need to acquire the habit of saving first. Another important form of capital on which to base a business is knowledge. I cannot overstress the importance of knowledge. At present, it is not difficult for a private individual to own an encyclopedia. If we read an encyclopedia, we can learn things that even the greatest genius could never have imagined 100 years ago. It is filled with knowledge that none of the geniuses of the past could ever have known. This is the age we live in. In the future, knowledge will become business. In the same way that a fertile field will produce a rich harvest, knowledge itself will become a field from which we will yield a harvest. Knowledge is an extremely important asset, and we have to gain as much important and useful information as possible. Faced with a problem in business, for example, you are at a loss as to what to do. The decision you made only made the situation worse. However, perhaps you had started to read a book on business management, but never finished, and in the part that you did not read, lay the answer to your present problem. You cannot make a right decision in business without special knowledge. Without it, you can only make an amateurish appraisal of the situation and risk errors. Many of the problems you will face have already been experienced by others. And if you study what is written, you won't make mistakes. This is an extremely important point. Skills are yet another form of capital. Knowledge is important for people who work intellectually. But there are other people who live by their skills, techniques, dexterity, or their ability. That is why I say that skills are another form of capital. People who want to live by their own ability must first learn the skills they will need. Another important form of capital is physical strength. There are all kinds of work in the world, but it is impossible to succeed in any of these without stamina. Although it is important to study as hard as possible while one is a student, without a certain amount of bodily strength, it is impossible to do a good job over an extended period of years. Bodily strength is an important asset, and it is worth taking the time to build it. Physical strength is something that is very difficult to keep, no matter how hard you may try. It is soon exhausted. You must consider bodily strength as a form of capital, an important asset, and take the time to produce it. Once it has been used up, we must work to recreate it once more. To be mentally strong is yet another asset. Someone who is weak in mind will not appear very impressive, nor be able to succeed very much. Someone can do well in school, getting A's for all their subjects. But if he is the pencil geek type who is always sick, he will not become a success. Compared to him, a person who only gets B's or C's, but who is fit and overflowing with vitality, is much more likely to succeed. This can be seen from statistics. Therefore, it is not sufficient merely to be good at studying. Being strong in mind is also important. Mental strength, vitality, and a positive desire to succeed will make up for lack of intelligence. to a certain
一
degree.
定の範囲ですけどね、もちろんね、一定の範囲ですけども、これも
We can strengthen our mental stamina too.
毎日毎日ですね、
Every morning, when we get up, we must tell ourselves that we are going to progress further than we did yesterday, to learn one more line of text, or to do something different so as to advance another step. By thinking like this, we develop a forward momentum that will propel us toward success. It is like generating one's own electricity. The success it brings urges us on to do a little bit more. This, too, is a matter of habit. The important thing is to learn how to build up one's courage and to become motivated. The more tired you feel, the more determined you must become to do your best. If you say, "I am too tired to do anything today," that entire day will go to waste. It is at times like this that you must look in the mirror, smile, and say, "I am going to make the best of this day." When nothing seems to go right, that is when our strength is put to the test. That is the day we must work extra hard. Work is not something we do only when we are feeling well. How much you can manage when you are at your worst is a measure of what your true capability is. It takes effort to build up mental stamina too. It is a skill which you can improve as you work to develop it. People grow through the discipline of increasing the burden they are able to bear. That is why we should look at difficulties, failures, and setbacks as material for forging yourself further. People who have never suffered will become weak like the branches of a willow tree. In order to become strong, we must not be put off by difficulties, but win out against them. When we do this, mental strength and spiritual strength will build up inside us. Once we have gained a measure of these strengths, the next time we are faced with the same difficulty, we will be able to overcome it easily. If you say to yourself, "I managed to prevail over something like this before, so I can do it again," then you will be able to clear it with ease.
Thank you, Lord. Okay. This part,
Another point I would like to raise.
this part is a bit similar to the second part, which to form the four good habits. To accumulate your capital for success is a bit similar in line with the four habits. But the difference is that the four habits are recommended to have in the early age, like teens. But this accumulating your capital is more like from your 20s, 30s, 40s. After you become an adult, you need to intentionally accumulate your asset or capital for success. Okay, Master taught us, having mentioned that human beings have the instinct for faith and create good habits, the third thing I would like to mention is that in order to be successful, you need a capital. Just as a flower sprouts from a bulb and the stem grows from sweet potatoes, which is a mass of nutrition, or too does the success require resources for income. We must work hard to create the capital. So Master taught us the 5 kind of resources, capital. First was fund. Okay, so Master teach us if you start business just relying on the bank loan, you have no chance of success. You have to have a experience of accumulating your own money by saving. Okay, so those kind of people are values. They know their value of the money, which is very important to earn. So they can be very careful about using money. So in that case, they can be successful. Master teach us in other places that we should spare 1/4 of your income and accumulate that for your nest egg or something like that for the future. We shouldn't spend all the money we earn. We should separate 1/4 of your income and save that to accumulate that. If you have this kind of habit, you have a chance of success in your business or monetary way. Sorry, I might have. Oh, okay, sorry. If you save a portion of the money you earn by yourself and that your saving is growing every year, you are likely to be successful in starting a business. But if you are a debt-first person who uses credit cards to make purchases before the money comes in, it will be difficult for you to be successful in your business. Okay. Second is knowledge. Okay. The time will come when knowledge will do the work. Just as well-fertilized field produces a rich crop, the knowledge itself will become the field, and the field of knowledge will produce crops. Knowledge is very important resource, so we must know as much important and useful information as possible. So if you are some kind of profession, you should know every aspect of the job. And the master told us once that we should read at least 100 books on our specialty or something like that. You should have at least 100 books for that. Okay. Then comes a skill, but I would introduce some other thing. It's called technologist. Peter Drucker, world-known famous management guru or management consultant, thought that we are in the age of technologists. They are not only they have skills and knowledge together. Skill is important, but skill is not enough for our successful in this age. They should have skill and knowledge. These combinations is very, very important. These people in many fields like medical care or IT, production or cuisine or buildings, these kind of the people who have knowledge and skills combination is very, very important. Just knowledge is enough. Just skill is enough. They should have both of them in a very, very slowly. Okay. Then it is important to study hard and acquire knowledge when you are a student, but you cannot continue to do good work for decades if you do not have a certain degree of physical strength. And physical strength is also one of the main resources and capital. So it is necessary to work hard to build up your physical strength. It is become vital when you enter the 40s or 50s or 60s, even 70s, if you are going to work at that age. So it depends, it differs person to person very much. Someone who is doing physical work, exercise every day, will be fit even in 60 or 70 like that. Someone who didn't do that will be tired in the 60s. In the 60s, they don't want to work anymore. So it is a very, very important asset for us to become fit, to doing exercising and having a strength in the face. Physical strength is a very, very important asset. Yeah. Last one is mental stamina. The mental stamina is also a resource. A person who has knowledge and physical strength but lacks mental strength is not a powerful human being and will not be very successful. If you have mental strength, vitality, and the ability to actively go through with things, you can compensate to a certain extent for the lack of intellectual ability. If you don't have enough intellectual ability, you can compensate it from the physical power. That is true in any any field of the work, in the field of the activities. So I can think that the final victor will be a strongest person in the physically in many fields like that happens. No, physically and also stamina. So, I made a mistake. But mental stamina is also very much connected to strength, physical strength, like muscle power. If you train your muscle, you can acquire kind of more strong mental stamina. Also, in a spiritual way, we should have a higher aspiration, and also sense of mission. These are the very important factor to give us a mental stamina, even though we are in a low situation, kind of difficulties. But if you have a strong aspiration, we can rebound from that situation. That is one source of strong mental stamina. So we should learn these kind of things from happy science books. Also, I don't have time to talk today much, but this kind of invincible thinking will be the very helpful for us to acquire mental stamina, even we are in a kind of difficulty or setbacks or a very difficult situation. You can acquire spiritual or mental power from these teachings. Okay. Then we come to the last part of Master lecture. Came to the last part.
One point I would like to raise to attain prosperity is the importance of having a heart of service. In the present day, many people have forgotten about altruism. They forget what sort of existence they are and live only for selfishness and their own egos. People like these think that they are seeking happiness, but unfortunately, they have yet to realize that the happiness of the individual is dependent on the happiness of society as a whole. Some people look on life as being a battle to win a greater share of the pie. They think that if they take a large slice of the pie, other people's share will shrink. They must take as much as they can, or else they will lose out. However, these people only see half of what life means, and are unaware of the other half. You cannot have happiness for you and you alone in this society on earth. The happiness of the individual is closely bound to that of society. When society is in the depths of suffering, it is impossible for the individual to know lasting happiness. It is like trying to live happily when the entire nation is in the midst of war. It isn't possible, is it? Likewise, when the whole of society is passing through a period of great prosperity, it is possible for the individual to benefit from this without making too much effort. The fortune you experience may differ from person to person, but overall, the happiness or unhappiness of society is linked to these of the individual. If people are concerned solely with themselves, their interests will collide, produce excessive competition, bring about adversity and failure, and create a world of pain. This ultimately gives birth to evil. The origins of evil are simple. It is because people only think of themselves. Those who know their happiness and the happiness of society are one, know their happiness will lead to society's well-being. Happiness in society will in turn bring them personal happiness, so they are incapable of committing evil. Conversely, there are those who think their fortune is other people's misfortune, or vice versa. This is not a very good tendency to have. They see happiness as only being achievable at the expense of others, like a fight over a pie, where one person's gain is another person's loss. Sadly, these are the kind of people who walk the streets of hell. So what sort of lives should we lead in order to achieve happiness for both ourselves and for others? The common factor in our personal happiness and that of others is altruism, to be of service. To live our lives always trying to contribute to the world and helping others is the secret to personal prosperity and prosperity for the whole of society. It is impossible for you alone to be happy while the rest of society is not. It is the same as a person wishing that the company where they are employed will go bankrupt because it does not pay him enough. But if the company goes bankrupt, they will even lose what little pay they had. However, many people seem incapable of understanding this. So have the heart of serving others selflessly. Whether on an individual level or in organizations like companies or government offices, it is necessary to retain the spirit of selfless service. It is through this spirit that the happiness of the individual and the group can be harmonized. Another word for this selfless service is love. When love is expressed through work, it becomes selfless service. If the number of people who wish to be of help to their society increases, then we will see the creation of a heaven on earth. In other words, this is the true form of prosperity. We must realize that selfless service is extremely important to achieve prosperity. Even in our individual jobs, we must keep the public interest at heart. Your work is closely connected to society, so strongly desire that the work you do will change the world for the better. Our personal happiness will lead to the happiness of those around us, and the happiness of others will mean happiness for ourselves. This is the greatest form of happiness.
Thank you, Master Okawa. This is the conclusion of this lecture.
One point I would like to raise.
The heart of service. To live with a constant desire to be of service to others and the world is not only for one's own prosperity, but also for the prosperity of society. A spirit of service harmonizes the happiness of the individual and with the happiness of the whole. Heart of service, another word for love. If love is expressed in the form of work, it becomes a spirit of service. So this is a most important mindset for become or create prosperity. Master taught us. It is a love. It's a kind of a progressive love or growing love for the world, for the society. Okay. Now I introduce the example of this heart of service, the story of Konosuke Matsushita that I told, the founder of Panasonic company, which he advocated tap water philosophy, which is actually Master wrote in this book, The Invincible Thinking. When Matsushita company was very strong, like 100 people working together, he wanted to become bigger, and or more service to others. And when at that time, like in maybe 1930 or 40, I'm not sure about that, he came up with the idea of tap water philosophy. And as you know, tap water is ubiquitous everywhere and very, very cheap. So even though someone come to your house and drinking the water from the tap, not telling to you, you don't call him a thief because it is too cheap. So it is a situation of the tap water in Japan and in this country too, I think. So Matsushita wanted to create that kind of thing into his business. So he wanted to produce good and very cheap electric appliances, and produce them to the Japan. So people will be very happy using these kind of electric appliances, very cheap. And also it will contribute to the Japan at the time, not so prosperous. So he had this kind of idea in his mind. So actually, his company became one of the biggest electric appliance company, not only in Japan, in the world at some point. This is his philosophy of prosperity. Actually, he advocated another thing, like PHP movement. It is an abbreviation of peace, happiness through prosperity. Peace, happiness, prosperity movement. He wanted to become a more prosperous Japan through this movement. So his philosophy is starting from his love to society. So because of that, his company became very prosperous, and it is also contributed to the prosperity of Japan in 70s, 80s, or 90s, like that. So this is a kind of a example of the sense of heart of service to people or society or the country, the world. Okay. So we learned 4 steps: instinct for faith, 4 good habits, forming good 4 habits from your childhood, and the capital. You must accumulate a capital for success, and then heart of service. Okay, it's like a kind of a plant. Like instinct for faith is likened to a seed or a seedling that can grow bigger. And 4 good habits is forming your roots to support your prosper. Forming a good habit is to make a good root into the sun, under the surface. Then capital for success will be growing your trunk, and also boughs or something like that, become also making leaves. This is the capital for success. Then come heart of service. Heart of service might be likened to a flowering or fruit to the service of others, so people. So we need these kind of things for our own prosperous life. This is my feeling of this master's lecture. Okay. This is my today's conclusion of master lecture and my explanation. And next time we have Master Okawa's very important lecture, which was given in 1988. The principle of utopia. The principles of utopia is the next theme. It's a very inspiring lecture. I just actually attended and given a tremendous effect on my life at that time. I want you to watch the video too. Okay, next week. Okay, lastly, I'd like to recite together the prayer to the El Cantare. Prayer to El Cantare. Lord El Cantare, you are our Lord, Buddha and Savior. We believe you are the Master of Masters, the highest God of this planet Earth. We believe you have the supreme power, both in heaven and on earth. You are the great spiritual being, the united consciousness of Buddha and God. Lord El Cantare, we believe you will lead all people to true happiness. We believe the fourfold path of love, wisdom, self-reflection, and progress perfects the principles of happiness. And we truly believe these principles will save the entire world. O Lord, please grant us the holy vision to spread the truth all over the world. We will cross the vast ocean, the lighter beacon of truth in every corner of the world. O Lord, please entrust us with a great vow to save all humankind. We will devote our lives to creating Buddhaland utopia. Lord Elcantare, as long as you are in heaven and the disciples are on earth, we will hand down a mission to future generations. Achieve your great vow. We, the disciples of Elcantare, will join together to become the ship of your great vow to save the people and bring them the shore of enlightenment. O Lord, we thank you very much for granting us the prayer to Elcantare. This concludes today's Sunday service. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining online too.